Yo, 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 yo. It's been a while. It's been a while. A fucking week. Week since the last live. Can you imagine that? Wonder how you guys have survived without my takes on politics. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor arrested. It's really, really serious when the king decides to chime in and say their 2 cents about it. Law must take its course as ex-prince taken into custody. I wonder if you can find the king in the files as well. Wouldn't be surprised though. Wouldn't be surprised. King Charles said that the law must take its course after expressing his deepest concern over the arrest of his younger brother Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. The sad thing about this is Andrew was arrested not because what he did on the island and with Epstein, but because of money. Because of money. And also abusing power. In my opinion, not the right reason to arrest Andrew. In my opinion, he should have been arrested and sent to jail because of, what he did to those young women and also what he did on that island. That's just my take. To be honest, in this case, I think what he did during his tenure as prince is less heavy than what he did on the island and with Epstein. What up, Johannes? Hi, Ben. You must be happy that Finland got to the semifinals. It was a really good match. It was a really good match yesterday. Happy for the Finns. Really, really happy for the Finns. But to be fair, it didn't look that good throughout the match. It didn't look that good. Virginia Giuffre's brother and sister-in-law told the BBC Newsnight they celebrated upon hearing that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Giuffre, who took her own life in April 2025, aged 41, previously alleged Andrew had sex with her 3 times as a teenager. That should have been the reason why he was arrested, not because of the misconduct in office. We are hopeful that this investigation now starts to open up the further probe into the sexual assault allegations. It is still a win. May I ask, where on specific are you? That's a highly specific question you have there. I live in Ireland at the moment. And I do hope that even though why Andrew was arrested, are you the police? Yeah, that sounds exactly what a police would ask. 100%. Because we moved to Ireland 3 years ago. That's about it. Me and my wife got a job here, and also it's beneficial for our kids because, living in an English-speaking language, going to school in an English-speaking language, there's some perks that you wouldn't get in Finland. So that's the reason why we moved to Ireland. Like, it benefits our kids, and also, well, I mean, why not? It's okay. Like I do like I love Ireland. The weather is way better than in Finland, so. Democrats only care because Trump is president. No, I'm not a Democrat, so I can't speak for all Democrats, but I've cared about the Epstein files for a long time. And whoever is in those files should be prosecuted, investigated. And if there's proof of wrongdoing, they should be sentenced. Whether they're Democrats, Republicans, whether they're Finnish, Irish, Indian, Japanese, Chinese, I don't fucking care. Whatever their religion is. Anyone who's in the Epstein files. Because I don't hear, like literally all I see from Democrats is demanding Clinton to be held accountable. I don't know in what bubble you live in, but like no Democrats are like protecting the Clintons. I'm an Armada, thanks for the follow. There is no Dems of reps. Send me a picture of Epstein with a beard living in Tel Aviv. Gorga, that was, I think, AI created. So I've seen the pictures of Epstein allegedly being in Israel at the moment, like currently, but those were generated by AI. And that has been debunked. Epstein is not alive. I would really hope that Epstein is alive so we can put him to justice and sentence. But unfortunately, that's not true because he needs to suffer for what he did. But he took the coward's way out before he got to justice. No, he's not alive. Come on. Next, you're gonna say that lizard people are real. Now, let's just fucking calm the fuck down. I don't think it's Democrat-Republican thing. It's a poor versus wealthy thing. Yeah, it's a bipartisan thing. Miss Kitty, thanks for the heart. Like, it's a bipartisan thing. It's the super rich that we should be fighting against. I don't understand why people are so much like sucking the ass fumes of like rich people and like powerful people who are doing horrible things. Like, what the fuck are you benefiting from that? I mean, he was guilty, Jenny. Like, yeah, 100%. Like, I don't think there's any doubt that Epstein wasn't guilty. No, I didn't say he committed suicide, though. I didn't commit, like, that's the official story. What I think is there's a bit too many coincidences. I think there's a bit too many coincidences happening at the same time, you know? Guards dozing off, the cameras being off. I mean, do you support those in the Epstein files without evidence to be guilty by association? That's why we need an investigation. I think everybody in the Epstein files should be investigated thoroughly. Noble Sharon, thanks for the follow. Looking how they leave evidence behind, they couldn't think. But for example, let's take Howard Lutnick. I think Howard Lutnick should resign. Howard Lutnick lied to the public multiple times that he cut ties in 2005. And then all of a sudden, it came out with the newest files that he was in the island after Epstein was convicted and had multiple interactions with Epstein. So, not guilt by association, but if you're hiding the truth, you should resign, at least, or never be in the office. Yes, he was convicted in 2008, so anyone associated with him afterwards needs to investigate. 100% Melissa, I agree. 100%. 2008, anyone who's been associated with Epstein, especially if you've flied with Epstein, you've partied with Epstein, you've had conversations about a boom boom room, anything, those should be investigated. Hey, Panasys Cup, thanks for the heart. Noble Sharon, thanks for the heart. Wink, wink as well. And Panasys Cup, thanks for the 12 roses. Noble Sharon, thanks for the roses as well. Like, it's baffling to me that we are jumping hoops for the super rich and the powerful. You know, it's baffling that there are people who are protecting, even if it's just allegations. But we are talking about horrible allegations. So why the fuck are people saying that, yeah, we shouldn't investigate those? Especially because now we also know that the DOJ and the FBI hasn't interviewed everyone, hasn't done a proper investigation. So what the hell are we talking about here? I am at a standstill when it comes to my taxes. Fitzke just resigned. Just now? They are worried about the system coming down. I'm all for the system coming down. Fuck yeah. And in Europe, there was a lot of people resigning. Which is a good thing. Yeah, JP Fitzgerald's cousin resigned from Hyatt board. Let the system collapse. Fuck yeah. A lot of French. There was protest in India by the youth protesting because Modi was in the files. Like, all around the world, you can see the uproar of your politicians, of your celebrities, of your powerful people being in the files. But there is one nation in the world that is not doing the same. Guess what that fucking nation is? Brazil arrested his pilot. Would be awesome to get back to the Stone Age. There is a former prince in jail at the moment. Trump's nation, there's not. American Gen Z is lazy and scared of fight. The government is not, but the people are furious. Yeah, like, there are few in the government that are willing to fight, but I'm afraid they're gonna find up, like, fallen from a balcony really soon. Yeah, Priestess, thanks for the follow. Trump... TikTok is automatically scrolling your life for me. Oh, nice. They don't like me talking about Epstein. Also, I am quite critical of Netanyahu, so wouldn't be surprising that Larry Ellison would be tweaking the algorithm. Americans don't even believe the information is real. I've heard, Casey, that so many times from my American viewers, saying that Epstein is a hoax made up by Obama and everything is a complete lie. You shouldn't investigate anything because anyone can say anything. So why the fuck would we investigate anything? Casey, thanks for the follow. Small change as well. Putin is not in the files. Weren't Putin actually in the files? There was some email chains with Putin and Epstein. Mackie, thanks for the follow. But I have to say, like, hey, Kelly Lewis, thanks for the heart. Way wrong and paid bots. Julio Martinez Vasco, thanks for the follow. There are millions of files, 100%. If made up by Obama, this is what the Republicans say it is. Well, not Republicans, but Trump said that they are made up by Obama. User, thanks for the follow. That was one of his theories. Like, first Epstein's were real and he had nothing to do with it. Then he had something to do with it, but nothing bad. Then it was a Democratic hoax. Then he said that it was an Obama created, that all of the Epstein files are made up by Obama. Like, there's so many wild theories. Trump and the gang are freaking out trying to clean it up. Oh yeah. Dirty Diana, thanks for the follow as well, and Gingers. Reaching? Really? These are all things that Trump said. Gingers, thanks for the follow. But hey, I can extend an olive branch for everybody who's... oh, Trump is reaching, okay. But I can extend an olive branch to everybody who's saying that Trump is king and all of that stuff. I think that the Democrats had a chance when Biden was president, and they fucked it up. They should have brought the Epstein files then. But then again, there was the ongoing court case up until 2024-ish. So, but after that, there was that almost a year period of time that they could have started releasing them. Yeah, I know they're under litigation, but there was a time period before the elections were coming up. Live, thanks to the follow. Yeah, I remember reading some email chains about Epstein wanting to meet Putin. What? Andrew released? Okay, well, that was fast. That was fast. Oh my god. Breaking news a minute ago. Prince Andrew has been released from police custody. Andrew has been released from police custody after almost 12 hours of questioning by police in Norfolk. I mean, that's it. That, like, is that all? Biden DOJ prosecuted Maxwell case, investigated, prosecuted, and sentenced and appeals, Yeah, that was fast. Andrew is already released. Who cares who didn't do what in the past? What matters now and getting the victims justice? Easy, thanks for the follow. He probably sang like a bird. I hope they don't go easy on Andrew because he's related. He's royalty, you know. Unfortunately, that is an issue in the United Kingdom. They have to release him within 24 hours until there's more prosecutor evidence in hand, yeah. But I hope that they won't go easy on him. But there should be way more. I'm kind of worried that the United States is doing more work on like providing doxing the victims than doxing the billionaires and super rich that are actually like in the inner circle of Epstein. This is like the way the DOJ has handled this whole case has been a complete fuck up. And I think majority of the DOJ should just resign. T. Parker Jr., thanks for the follow. And also, like, Kash Patel should instantly be ejected as well. Kash Patel lied to everyone. Cage51, thanks for the follow. Sherry be live as well. Like, okay, let's say that was an accident, that they leaked personal identifying information about the victims. Let's say that's an accident, even though they had one job and the job was to protect the victims. But they lied about the files, both the FBI and DOJ. So let's say that was an accident, which it fucking wasn't, like the doxing of the victims. But they should be resigning or impeached because of, you know, the lies. Do you think Trump is the Antichrist? I don't believe in the Antichrist, so I don't think Trump is necessarily the Antichrist. I do think that Trump's moral compass is kind of skewed, but I wouldn't call him the Antichrist. That would be hypocritical of me. Tiny Yikes, thanks for the follow. They need to release the names of the clients, not the victims. Exactly. They had one job. They had fucking one job. And they fucked it up. One of the few Kentucky politicians Kentucky can be proud of recently. There's a few honest politicians coming up, like, because of the Epstein files, that are actually caring about justice and the victims. Unfortunately, majority of the politicians on both sides of the aisle are still kind of on the fence of it. Stephanie, thanks for the follow. Do you think that maybe your mind is a little bit off compass? Is there a chance that it's actually... What? Trump and Epstein are FSB, KGB puppets for sure. Jack, you need to add Mossad there for Epstein, because there's like for Mubarak, the previous the previous president of Israel, their email chain with Epstein kind of showed the link between Mossad and Epstein. So, Hollis, thanks for the follow. You look like Gordon Ramsay with long hair. Alex, I have not heard that in a while. Usually they refer to me as Aussie, but back in the day when I had short hair, people refer to me as Gordon Ramsay. Yes. Because of my forehead wrinkles. Audacious Elia, thanks for the follow. Because both sides had a shit ton of money to lose if they turned themselves in. Stay in Europe, pansy. I have no eagerness to leave Europe. So I don't know, what's that like? Were you trying to get an own or W with that? Kind of failed. I'm quite happy in Europe, though. Also the eyes. Thanks. Russian connection, 100. Yeah. Well, Epstein did have connections in Russia. Yeah, 100%. You only know propaganda. Okay. What? Propaganda? Reading the Epstein files? Is that propaganda? Carrie Wilson, thanks for the follow. Randy as well. Americans need to quit worrying about them, or Republicans start realizing it's both parties. That is what I've been trying to preach for a long time, is like, if people still think there's a huge difference between Republicans and Democrats, you are fucking delusional. They have the same donors. Every time one party is in power, like, your life is getting shit anyway. So, Swedish, I know. Don't forget to acknowledge it's more than just Trump. I didn't like, yeah. Bill Gates. Did you read what happened to Bill Gates? Open to what exactly? Thanks for the follow. Did you read what happened to Bill Gates? Bill Gates was going to have the keynotes conference in India, but he decided not to go there because he saw the questions submitted beforehand, and a lot of those questions were about Epstein files, so he decided not to go there. This is what we need. More like fucking pushback to the billionaires and the super rich and the powerful. Williams, thanks for the follow. Sunny as well. I'm from the USA. What are you hearing about our president? It's not what I'm hearing about about your president. It's what I'm seeing from him. Like, I follow American news outlets. I follow Trump's own like outbursts. I follow Trump's press conferences. It's not what we hear from Trump. It's not what we hear from our news outlets about Trump. It's what we hear about Trump from Trump. And what we see and hear from Trump is fucking delusional. Pam Raven, thanks for the follow. I love that you're an outsider looking at the US. This is probably my ADHD working, but I'm super interested in just global politics. I was following really closely on the Bangladesh elections just like last weekend, because that was a huge election for the Gen Z. Unfortunately, they lost. So if you haven't read up on the Bangladesh election results, I highly recommend following that, because it's been a long 2 years since the student uprising that eventually made so that Sheikh Hasina needed to go to exile because he was condemned to death for killing 1,500 students and also injuring 20,000. And now they had their first election like in a long time after the regime of Sheikh Hasina, and there was a lot in stake. So I highly recommend following global politics instead of just turning inwards. Tessa, thanks for the follow. Prince Andrew will speak out against child rapist Trump. I mean, Prince Andrew doesn't really have a leg to stand there. What up, my stuff? Bring a billionaire to a holding cell, see how fast he rolls. India, Bangladesh, and France are the same. They rebel every 3-5 years, accomplish nothing, go home. I mean, they did accomplish now. They pushed their leader outside of the country, and now the leader can't return to the country because if she returns, she will be sentenced to death. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Ghost, but like, revolutions work from time to time. Not always, but this time it did work. The only good thing about Trump is that he's shown us how corrupt both sides of our system are. I mean, he's trying to fight against the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies, which are sucking Americans dry. Hope everyone's having a good day. Don't let evil get you. I agree. MAGA, I wouldn't say MAGA is collapsing. I would say the Republican Party is growing a bit of a spine. Because slowly but surely they are finding out that putting your faith in a cult is not necessarily the best outcome or the best solution to do. I can say that not all Americans believe they are made up. Media in America controls the narrative. I do know that. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans follow Fox News, which is by definition by themselves not a news source, not a news outlet. It's entertainment, even though they have news in their name, because they lost the court case against Tucker Carlson. We know now that they are not a news outlet. They are an entertainment. Who pulls your strings? Nobody. If anybody wants to offer me money to have opinions, please do, but I'm not going to change my opinions, though. CNN is horrible. I wouldn't follow CNN for if you want to actually be media critical, you want to follow as many news outlets as possible. Not just one or two. You kind of need to cross-reference from both sides of the aisle to find out what's actually been happening. If you follow only CNN or if you follow only Fox News, you're getting biased news. Megan, thanks for the follow. You're deeply brainwashed. How am I deeply brainwashed? Please do. I would love this. Who do you follow online news? How do you follow online news? It is quite difficult at the moment because there's so many different outlets that you need to cross-reference. And one of the best means that we have at the moment to summarize multiple news outlets at the same time is unfortunately using AI, which I'm not a huge fan of. But AI can actually summarize and pick up differences. AI has faults though. Don't ever trust anything AI tells you 100% because they read your preferences and start to provide you information that you like and you search. So you can't trust AIs completely either. So this is the fucking difficulty at what we have at the moment, is because both the news are not necessarily providing you factual information. They just try to be first. And if you use AI also picks up your patterns and starts to hyper focus on the content the AI knows you like, because it builds the algorithm on your profile, how many times you use it. So the only thing actually is to manually just watch up the same news outlet article from a few different news sources if you want to have that. But that takes time. And one thing that people nowadays don't have much is time. I used to follow several news sites on Twitter before they banned me. Yeah, you can look at who made the investments and how you can ask AI to cite sources and go read them yourself. That is true, free thinker. But then again, the AI picks up what sources are you clicking. So if you click, let's say, AP News, or let's say you click Euronews the most, then it will start providing you those news sources the most. Chris Phoenix, thanks for the follow. What about Finland? Who are in the files? Finland has been kind of unrepresented in the files. So I'm kind of like worried about that. Maybe there's powerful Finnish people that aren't in the file and we just don't know yet because they're redacted. Or maybe Finnish are just like left out from the party, you know? Lauren Glitcher, thanks for the follow, Melly as well. Well, one wish I do have for the people in TikTok, try and not slander or fight against each other. If you want to be angry at someone, you can be towards me. Let's keep the chat as civil as possible. You can disagree, you can have a conversation, but let's not retort to slurs or anything in the chat. Just like if you want to throw slurs at someone, I'm your guy. I'm the shield here, you know? Is Mexico people in the file? There's bound to be somebody. Correction, if you're a CNN or a Fox News viewer, you're very seldomly getting news instead of you're getting party propaganda. Yeah, because they are, well, you can clearly see it when you read certain news outlets that what party they really, really like. New follower here from the IS. We are being heavily censored. Aussie? I am Aussie. Why always, when there is an election, PS party starts attacking foreigners left and right? And any comment? They're asking, I do. And that's not just PS. And those who don't know, PS is Basic Finns Party, which is the... I guess we have to call them right, like, because they're more like conservative than right wing. Like, they're almost fully conservative. And they are righter from the central axis. But the reason why they are starting to blame immigrants when the elections are coming, because that works. Because as we've had a discussion previously, what works in politics, what works in like populism, it's easier for people who don't really like reading and understanding what's going on and are easily manipulated if you give them a target. And that's what, for example, PS is doing a lot of the times when elections are coming. They are pointing that, oh, the grocery prices, the rent, your car, everything is expensive because of immigrants. And that has worked throughout the history of politics. It worked in Germany in the 1920s and 1930s. It still works in Finland 2026. And it has worked in a lot of places in between that. It is a powerful and really effective way of manipulating people, to provide them a target that this group of people are the evil and they are causing all of your suffering. If you don't want this group of people causing your suffering, vote for us and we will change it. That works. We've seen that around Europe and we've seen that in other countries as well. And in Sweden right now. Michelle, thanks for the follow. That's like populism 101. And there's a reason why they do that, because it is effective. Daisy, thanks for the follow. The US is held right now. What country are we in? I'm in Ireland at the moment. Cupcake, Princess Tammy, Amber, thanks for the follow. The US is a wild west at the moment. Fear in general is a great motivator, sadly. Keeping one's voter base afraid or something and present oneself as a savior with the definite solution to problem work on the masses. Yes. And that is exactly what, like, US is a bit different when it comes to compared to the Europeans. Like, US, because you have that two major party system. The reason why they are demonizing each other is because they want in power, and once they're in power, they're going to benefit the donors, the benefactors, the foreign entities that are lobbying there, the lobbyists. But for example, in Europe, it's a bit harder because there's multiple political parties trying to get power at the same time. So it would be really hard to like demonize one group and then the other group is gaining power because of that. So instead, what they do is demonize a group of people that are outside of politics. So they are not held accountable. And at the end of the day, you guys in the chat, over 200 in TikTok and everybody else in YouTube and Twitch, we are in the same boat. You do know that. We are in the same boat. The people who are causing our misery isn't the immigrants, isn't the far right wingers or far left wingers. It's the fucking politicians. It's the politicians and the lobbyists who are lobbying them. We are in the same boat. So instead of blaming each other, we should be blaming upwards, because they are benefiting from this, the separation, the division in a lot of countries. And they are also the ones manipulating you. Sorry for this revolutionary talk, but I didn't understand that this is such a hot topic. The reason, Sean Livingston, that people vote for politicians are usually made, the decision is made based on lies during the campaign. As I mentioned in the last live, unfortunately almost a week ago, politicians are willing to say in the campaign whatever they need to get in power. They literally lie during their campaigning more than in office. Sorry, but regardless of this, all these other changes going on and what I want, end of story. But the problem now is America. Taxpayers are tired of being a welfare of the world. What? The decision is made on religion. Many believe to be a Christian, you must be conservative. Not all countries. I think that's only applicable, like really, in America. A lot of countries are moving away from like voting based on religion. Devil's advocate, how do we know fighting upwards is not another form of demonizing one demographic? I mean, it technically is though. But is it like fighting upwards means that we're the people who don't actually control the narrative are fighting against the power that actually controls the narrative. So it's like the underdog fight, you know? Not all Americans, some of us value our allies and want less dollars to go to war, more helping. I mean, yeah. It's kind of wild that increasing 500 billion on your military budget is somehow okay, even though you don't really need to start any new wars and you don't need to go to Middle East to fight again. But I mean, I guess you can just increase the military budget by another 500 billion and complain that you're welfare for the whole world. I mean, that's kind of hypocritical. That 500 billion could have been used in better ways. You know, it could have been used for the citizens, for example. 500 billion is a lot of money. Two Huskies, Nanook and Luna, thanks for the follow. Our military budget is insane and our people have no healthcare. Our education system is a joke. And your education system is like under Linda McMahon is going to be even worse. Sammy, I actually think the same. Sammy said that I don't think free healthcare would work here. Unfortunately, I do believe, like federal level, it would be impossible to provide that for 340 something million people. But on a state level, it could be achieved. Considering like, I use Colorado a lot of the time because Colorado has above 5 to 6 million people. And it also has a GDP like twice the size of Finland. So what Finland has could be applicable for Colorado, the state of Colorado, healthcare-wise. But as a federal level, I don't think that would be as easy. But then again, I think that could be done on state levels. Democrats are not used to someone actually putting America first. Trump is the GOAT. Okay. Here's this is kind of funny. Like, this is half a joke question and a serious question. How has the presidents not put America first? Yo, what up, Razor? You mean to tell me that all the presidents prior to Trump has not worked towards the American people? Andrew has been released on bail, yes. But he's still under investigation. But he is released at the moment. Because, yeah, Trump, I agree that Trump puts Trump first. Like, you're like a teenager, it gets supported by your parents, but you hate them. What? This guy is in the files 100%. Unfortunately for you, I am not. And that was investigated by my previous live viewers and myself. Because there is always a small chance that a small content creator is in there because of their criticism towards certain countries. As I saw in the files, there's actually people who have like 100 followers, 500 followers, that they are critical of certain countries in the world. And they were in the files. So that's why a lot of my viewers and myself went to the files and tried to find me. But I wasn't there. Sorry about that. He has taken taxpayer dollars to fund other countries and destroyed the White House with demolition. What president hasn't destroyed the White House or taken tax? What? It cracks me up. Trump is suing the US for $10 billion. Yeah, it's kind of funny and sad at the same time, to be fair. If you think about it. All the pedophile protectors in here, wow. I mean, it's the cult mentality. If somebody criticizes your supreme leader, you take it personally because that's your whole personality. So I do understand. We've been discussing about that many times. And that's something that you as an individual want to get away from. Not growing a relationship to any individual like that, that if somebody criticizes a valid criticism of the person, that you take it as a personal insult or an attack. Honestly, what the world thinks of Americas. Jennifer, I don't think like a blanket statement for all Americans would apply here. I'm not a huge fan of the American government, not only this government, but in general, considering like how heavily lobbied it is and also how heavily corrupt it is, both Democrats and Republicans. I'm not a huge fan of that because America is a huge country globally, so it affects a lot of things happening globally. So if we have a fucking almost as corrupt government as we have in Belarus, for example, or Kazakhstan, or Uzbekistan, in one of the big superpowers of the world, that affects the whole world. So yeah, 100% I would want American government to be less corrupt. That's one thing. We could start by banning lobbyists. What does the chat think about that? If we would just ban lobbying for politicians. Could we start with that? Is that too hot of a take? Yeah. Like I think this is something that is, again, bipartisan. Everybody could get on board with this. Make lobbying illegal for politicians. And also, here's another one. I don't think any politician should be in stock trading or own stocks. Because when you're in politics, you should be working for the people, not for yourself. Is that a hot take? I want to visit your island. Please do. Ireland isn't my island, though. See? This is where we can come together. Both, like, it's a bipartisan thing. Let's take money and religion out of politics. Well, it's all American people while you're at the one attacking the American people. Trump means his administration first and doesn't care about the American people. He cares about expelling illegal immigrants but protects child molesters. Yes, this is what I call hypocrisy. It only takes the unification of the two parties against these hypocrites while have these people change every 4 years, either Democrats or Republicans is elected. And the only thing that changes is the names. Yes, I agree, Razor, as 100%. If we're be honest here, American citizens no longer elect a president since Reagan. All they do is effectively voting for all its corp influence. Yeah. Lobbying is a kind word for corruption. But yeah, I all of these things, both right and left side, we can agree with, right? So if we want to really, really fucking tackle corruption like Elon Musk allegedly did with Doge, even though he said that he's going to make 2 trillion saves and it was just a few hundred millions or something like that. If we really want to fight corruption, let's make corruption illegal and punishable by jail time with our politicians. For example, Nancy Pelosi and all of those insider tradings. Straight to jail. Straight to fucking jail. Randy Fine taking hundreds of thousands or even millions from APAC, straight to jail. You know? All of this. Bipartisan. Like, I don't fucking care. You're creating a crypto coin under your own name and banking for your family billions of dollars. Straight to jail. This is where I lose a lot of people. This is where I lose a lot of people. Create a cryptocurrency and bank billions for your family. Straight to jail. Are we let's try how united are we? Because there's always one name that you're willing to bend the knee. There's always one person that you're willing to bend the knee. You want to... If they admit to having a freezer full of $1 ice cream, straight to jail. Let's be realistic. Everyone is tired of this nonsense that repeats that every 4 years. The country needs unity. It shouldn't be a democratic republic. Because of this, the American people have become enemies of themselves. Exactly. The division is the only reason why the politics stay in power and they gain more and more power and they get away with more and more bullshit. Then promise 1,000 in the bank account for every child just to take it. Why is Trump corrupt when he exposed this? I mean, Trump is corrupt, Stephanie. Not necessarily when it comes to Epstein files, but he is corrupt. Where are you reading from? I have Twitch chat next to my TikTok chat and YouTube chat next to that. There are sadly two justice systems, one for the commoners and one for the elite, and that's not specific. That's also another thing, like the justice system needs a revamp. Trump is only a symptom. Trump is corrupt as they come. Hey, could you let the people know that can call their congressional representative? The number is... I mean, I think people should just do a clean slate, you know, push everybody in power out. That's what like unfortunate. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this might sound like a joke, and I know a lot of you love some politicians and you might have some feelings towards them. But if you really want to make a system that's caring for the citizens of the United States, or even Ireland, or Ireland has the same issue here. We've had the same two parties for decades. They've done absolutely fucking nothing, and people are still voting them in because their fathers voted them and their grandfathers voted them and some fucking other reason, and then they're complaining that nothing changes. If you really want to make change and make a proper system that is for the people, you need a clean slate. Because if you just elect new party members, well, they are party members, so they are gonna be in line and taking money from the same companies, doing the exact same things. So you need a clean fucking slate of politicians who are willing to put in it's what we need to stop electing the rich and instead elect people who have experience in real life. If you actually like or love a politician, you might be a rube. Agree, however, the only ones are nutcases, nothing worth electing. Yeah. I mean, when I was back in Finland, I was playing around with the idea, instead of having parties, you would have individual individual reps of counties or states instead of parties that would cycle around. It wouldn't necessarily be a job to be a politician. It would be an honorary position for a period of time, and then somebody else takes over. So there's never a concentration of power, and there's never part of, like, it diminished the possibility for corruption. But that was just me when I was a bit younger playing around with the idea. It's not lottery. It's like the states are gonna elect their rep for that period of time. Because, yeah, 100% just Jane. The root cause of the problems in politics is freaking money. Vote for Petro. Citizens' elections, you know. Or direct democracy like in Switzerland. Direct democracy in America would be hard to handle. It would be hard to implement because of the amount of people you have. But maybe, just maybe, we need to give more power to the states instead. I don't know. These are good conversations we're having here. Mandatory politician service like jury duty, for example. This is like what this is all about, like trying to figure out what's the best course of actions. The Epstein files are waking some people up. Unfortunately, a bit too slow. And my problem is that this is not only American people, it affects the whole world because these people believe they have the right to impose policies in other countries and attack them. Yes, and when things get seriously, they blame the Republicans or the Democrats. We are tired of this foolishness. I can only agree the level of division in your country are getting worrisome, but keeping the people divided and jumping at each other's throats is the strategy. Okay, yeah, 100% Mustard. That's the one that I was talking about as well. Like, there is the people who benefit from division are the politicians and the lobbyists. So the more the United States is divided, the more beneficial it is for the powerful people who are running the country. And also, it's easier to push policies that they would otherwise fight back. How many of you are okay with mass surveillance with drones for the citizens of the United States? How would you feel like if your government was mass surveilling you with drones? How many is for this? It's baffling that not more people are talking about this. But if you don't remember, just a few months ago, no, 2 months ago, Kristi Noem said that they are starting to mass surveil people with drones in US cities. This is wild because not that many people were talking about this. They were saying that it's for your security, but that's how it starts. They are creating an urgency to implement a new way of surveilling people and saying that it's for your own security. And they're pushing the envelope more and more. You need to have your ID with you all the time. Really? I'm pretty sure the Constitution says otherwise. It's like, so slowly but surely they are pushing back and seeing that how much can they get away with. And that's what the division does. You're saying that they already released Andrew within 12 or less hours. Yes, 7Gator, they did. Patriot Act is where we lost our rights. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's kind of still going on. And whether you like Edward Snowden or not, I think what Edward Snowden did back in the day was a really important piece of information. Unfortunately, not that many people were intelligent enough to process the deed that Edward Snowden did, because they were told to deem Edward Snowden as a traitor for the country. But because their leader said that Edward Snowden is a traitor to the country. But if they fucking read what Edward Snowden actually did, they proved that the US government was surveilling US citizens 3 times more than the rest of the world, while they were lying to the US citizens that they were only using it to surveil foreign countries. But that wasn't published, that wasn't newsworthy or told to be newsworthy in the United States. So what was newsworthy was deeming Edward Snowden as a traitor. He was on top of a young child. Those were not fake photos. This is fucked. Yeah, but they did release him though, unfortunately. The idea is that there should be a unified system for everyone where the person is rich or poor, in power or not. The law should be applied to them in this way, and you can manage a country that almost free from problems. Yeah, that would be the ideal utopia that I would really love to live, that the rich and powerful would have the same rules than the poor and the not so powerful. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen as long as people who have actually the power are idle and busy fighting each other instead of the powerful. We have been under a military since 2016. Trump handed the reins over as a wartime president. All of a sudden, China doesn't sound that bad. They're more straightforward about it. Oh my god. Like, Laugi, you probably remember that I was talking about moving to the United States. No, not moving to the United States, but visit to the United States. But because I have some memes about Trump and Vance, and I've been super critical of the Trump administration, I would be more safer going to China, even though I've criticized Xi Jinping quite a lot, and also their concentration camps on Uyghur Muslims. And I'm always going to stand with Hong Kong and Taiwan. But I still feel more comfortable going to China than the US at the moment. Luis Gonzalez, I don't know like what under rock you live in, but it's kind of concerning that I know more about U.S. politics and what actually your admin is saying and doing. Because Kristi Noem said, and they have the money already. Pentagon has allocated that money to those drones, and they are gonna happen. They are gonna happen. So this was news a few months ago. Now it's kind of old news, but it is gonna happen. Hey, thanks, Mesta, for dropping by. And thanks for participating in the conversation. They do not teach a lot of history or politics in public schools in America, so it's not surprising. This is something that, what is the USA number one in? Military spending, and school shootings, I think. Military spending, school shootings, and mass shootings. That's my guess. And also gun owners. And incarcerated people as well. Yeah, prison. Number one in cheeseburger consumption. Which is why I pulled my kids from public school. Since the early 2000s, Americans' education has been changed by its politicians. I mean, the way that Europeans are taught like about history and global politics and affairs is quite different than because I have American friends and we've been comparing notes like what was like growing up, going to school. Of course, I was born in the 80s and my friends were born in the 90s. So when we went to school was a bit different because, well, 9/11 happened. And also the Columbine happened in the late 90s. So there was a lot of like turmoil in the United States. But we are taught widely what happened around the world throughout history and also what's happening in current events. And also because our news outlets in Finland, for example, they broadcast a lot of global news, not just like Finnish news, but Swedish, Russian, Estonian, all of that stuff. So instantly we learn how to navigate in a bigger scope globally, not just concentrating. Of course, United States is a huge place, 340 million people, 50 states. It's the size of Europe. So that's why when Europeans view the United States, it's easier to even go to state level and read and understand what's going on there, because that's what we're doing in Europe at the moment. If you go in Sweden or Finland or Denmark or even here in Ireland, a lot of us know what's happening in France and Italy and other places. Not all, but a lot of people are. We spent money on military and war and filling the pockets of 7 people. Europeans also read US news, but US citizens do not read European news. Laugi, that is true. And I think it's like a lot of US people in the chat who are like from America are saying that you should concentrate on your own issues in your own countries, blah, blah, blah. That's also a cultural difference that you only care about yourself and you. But a lot of, for example, Europeans, we just are interested what's going on in the world and also having like opinions and knowledge what's going on around the world. And for example, I'm one of those. I like talking about global politics. I like talking about the US. I already talked about the Bangladesh elections last weekend. I've talked a lot about Middle East stuff. Of course, when it comes to European stuff, I've been talking about Ukraine and Russia. The China situation is wild. There's a lot of global news that I follow all the time because I like it. I like knowing what's going on in the world. I think nothing will happen. It's a dog and pony show. They knew and could have did something. America here, we are all not jerks who only care about... I know, Ashley. I know. I shouldn't throw blanket. But I was talking about the Americans in my chat usually, who are telling me that I shouldn't talk about American politics if I'm not inside United States myself. Which is just fucking baffling if you think about it. Like, the West, we are all the same people, all created a system to explain it. You look like you could be related to Ozzy Osbourne. I'm not, but I'll take that as a compliment. Speaking up clearly. I love what you're saying. I appreciate you with my whole heart. I mean, I have so many good friends in the United States, and there's a lot of... The reason why I want to visit the United States and I want the United States to do well is because there's a lot of rich history there. There's a lot of beautiful places to visit. And I don't wish that to be destroyed. You know, United States is a beautiful place. The people of United States are really fucking great. Michigan is on my to-do list. Like, there's an island north of Michigan. Correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor Mary, but there's an island that doesn't allow any cars. Was it above Michigan or Wisconsin? I think it was like just above Michigan. There's an island that doesn't allow any cars there. So people just walk there and go with horses and such. That is one of the coolest fucking things I've ever heard. Mackinac Island, that's the one. That's one of the coolest things I've ever heard. Like, 100%. There's a lot of places in Colorado as well that I want to, just because I love hiking. I love being in the nature. I would really want to visit like New Mexico and Nevada deserts and just like walk there. San Francisco, New York, all of that stuff. There are places I don't really care to go because of the weather. It's a bit too, like, New Mexico is testing it because I'm Finnish, so it might be a bit too hot for me. But yeah, like, Minnesota is technically Little Finland. I've heard a lot of people saying I need to go to Arizona. Good day, sir. It's my first time here watching your live stream. Greetings from South Africa. Well, what up, South Africa? Even animals have ethics, while humans unfortunately lack them. Those in power have become... I don't agree with them because America interferes with the world laws. Excuse me, what said that? Louisiana. Kelly Lyons... I have to say that, like, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, well, nah, I kind of have to go, like, Louisiana and Mississippi, though. They are really important for, like, there's a lot of culture there, like, musical culture. So, and also, like, well, I wouldn't go to Alabama, though. I hope there's no Alabamans here, but no offense, but I would probably skip Alabama. Arkansas. We are in Manister National Forest, less than 2 hours from Mackinac Bridge. Oh my god, that's beautiful to live so close. While a lot of people still think trickle-down supply side is legit economics, we're fucked. Yeah, that doesn't work, Larova. Yeah, trickle-down economics doesn't work. Big music fans, yeah, 100%. I have a question though, like, I love that I once heard somebody pronounce Arkansas as Arkansas, and I can't stop thinking about it because it makes so much sense. I want Arkansas to be Arkansas and not Arkansas from now on, like, because it kind of makes so much sense if you think about it. You have Kansas, then you would have Arkansas. Yeah, I don't remember who that was, but like I saw a video of somebody pronouncing it Arkansas, and I just freaking loved it. But I want to be like, I want to flex a bit. Sounds like Swede. No, I'm not Swedish though. But I'm not certain, but I believe it is a native word that has been mutated by white people. It's either you're from Kansas or Arkansas. That's it. There's also Texarkana, In America, many still think trickle down is legit. How do you fight that when our media shills it? Time. Younger generation is going to be more and more smart when it comes to economy. So, unfortunately, it will take time. I always imagine people from Florida ride on alligators to work. Peace is the only thing that trickles down. Brian Eye Girl, thanks for the follow. If you would just run those cities together when you pronounce them, it would be better. I really do believe in the younger generation. I see them. I do have a lot of faith. Like, of course, I have one of the, like, I have two of them myself. I have two daughters, one 15 and one 9. Well, soon to be sweet 16 and 10. So I do have some faith. Man, it sounded like a Swede. I made that mistake myself. No, don't worry. It's so close that I'm not going to take offense, even though some Finnish people might take offense to be called a Swede, but I'm not one of those. There's that stereotypical fight between the Swedes and Finns, but I think it's kind of silly because Swedes are one of the most kind and nice group of people you can meet. If you want to meet really polite and hospitable people, you go to Stockholm, Sweden. Or Uppsala. So, Andrew got arrested. What is America's next move? Crickets? Blame it on the Democrats again? Duck. I mean, of course, Sweden is so close to Finland. I've visited Sweden so many times. What is your opinion on the debate about cannabis that they had in Finland a couple of days ago? Oh my fucking god, what did they say? I'm kind of out of the loop in Finnish news because I try to avoid it. What the hell did they say again? Finnish politics about cannabis is so fucking dumb. Because literally there's no reason to keep cannabis illegal. There is no weed in Finland. We need weed in Finland. Have you seen the suicide rates in Finland? People like us Finns are the most depressed people you will ever find. Polite maybe, but super depressed. Maybe we should stop drinking alcohol as much, like booze and beer and vodka, and start smoking weed more and relax a bit. You know, this might be a hot take, and maybe some Finns are going to disagree with me, but as a fellow Finn, we need to calm the fuck down. So weed would probably be a good solution for that. I would love to be able to grow plants legally instead of tripping every time someone knocks. I had a friend like that. Every time, because we agreed to call before I come there, so I don't ring the doorbell or knock because he was super fucking paranoid that the police would be there. But yeah. Cannabis should be more legal than liquor. It's safer, honestly. Oh, yeah. But America is the devil, huh? No, I don't believe in the devil. Good try, though. Lobbyists are trying to get weed to be illegal again because of the alcohol industry. Surprise, surprise. Well, that's... yeah. And because, like, Kokoomus and Persut in the parliament kind of makes sense because they've been lobbied by the alcohol industry and also the tobacco industry. So it would make sense that they try to make people's life more miserable. What happens if caught in Finland? I think it's fines first. I think you get fined for it. It depends on the amount. If you're storing like 10 kilos of it, like, yeah, you're going to jail. But if it's just for your own use, I think it's fines first, right? I've never smoked weed myself. This is the funny thing. I've never used drugs, but I think everybody should be able to do what they want for their body. So You know, whether it's mushrooms, whether it's weed, I would probably try and avoid like, uh, you know, crack. I would probably draw the line there. Heroin, all of that stuff. But like, if you want to take mushrooms, if you want to take like ayahuasca, fucking go for it. If you want to trip your balls off, I don't care. It's your body. It's your trip. Alcohol takes away the ability to think, while weed makes you think more. I'm so glad I joined this live. It's been the best conversation. You guys want to hear some? Texas is so wishy-washy when it comes to cannabis. It's a political topic here. That is true. Want to hear something stupid? I did the mistake of. It's pretty cool to go to dispensary like it's a normal store. I've never experienced that. I've always meant to try weed, but I'm a bit of a chicken when it comes to that. I don't know why. Because I've never done it, and maybe I just need a good group of people to try it. It's awesome. I'm more of a coffee drinker myself. I drink a lot of coffee. Just the fear of the unknown. Yeah. Even though I was already planning a trip to South America to try ayahuasca, which is a really, really strong hallucinating drug, a plant. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking actually, starting with a gummy bear or something like that. The problem with weed is that my calorie intake increased 1,000%. That would be horrible for me because I sit around quite a lot on my work. What country are you from? Finland originally. Okay, trying that before weed is crazy work. I mean, I would want because I'm a huge Tool fan. Those who know Tool is like they've been heavily drugged when they write their music, and they have tried ayahuasca quite a few times. So I would love to listen to some Tool while I try like tripping my balls off and see what happens. Do I see the god face that James Maynard Keenan saw, or Danny Carey? That would be fun. Quest, are your thoughts on the immigration crisis in Europe? It's kind of blown out of proportions, to be fair, especially in like UK and Finland and Sweden, that I know quite a lot about, like, and also Ireland. I can't really say too much because I know France and Germany and Italy take a lot more, but like especially in like the Nordic countries and the UK Ireland, it's blown out of proportions when it comes to the quote unquote immigration crisis. Yeah, exactly, Lauki. Like you can't really say one whole immigration crisis in Europe because it kind of depends. You should look into some of the album artwork of Beatles. Yeah, I've seen it. They were definitely taking everything. Lol, did you see the petrified look of Prince Andrew's face? Yes, I did. This face. TikTok, you want to see this as well? This man looks like they are going to jail and they're never coming back. That is the face of a man who almost faced death. Not the most beautiful man there. What was in English? That is the face of a man who wants his mommy. One-way trip to jail. Oh my god, can you imagine his fear? I can't really, because I've never been accused of the things that Prince Andrew was accused, so I can't really empathize. US be like, oh my god, a scandal in UK, Europe is done. The look of Dracula when he's plotting against you.
I'm excited to announce that Norway has agreed to host an event bringing together the Board of Peace. Oh, I thought when I saw this note, I'm excited to announce that Norway, I thought they were going to say that they're giving me the Nobel Prize. Oh, this is less exciting. Oh, it says, I'm excited to announce that Norway, and I'm saying, oh, great, I'm getting the Nobel Prize, finally. Finally, they got it right. But I don't care. I don't care about Nobel Prize. I care about saving lives, just so you understand. I'm excited to announce that Norway has agreed to host an event bringing together the Board of Peace.
You know what's funny about that? That speech. That's exactly what a person who's obsessed with something would say. First say that, oh, I thought I got that one specific thing. Yeah, this is today, Liselot. And that's exactly what a person who's obsessed with something would say. Oh, I thought because the note started like this, that I would get a Nobel Prize. Oh, I don't really care about the Nobel Prize. But in my speech, I did say that they would finally get it right, and I would get a Nobel Prize. And now that I don't get it, it's less exciting news. But then again, I don't care about Nobel Prize, you know? That's kind of fucking stupid. But one thing I want to say, I do agree with Norway. I want Norway to host the Board of Peace next time. Does anyone know why? Why would I all of a sudden want Norway to host Board of Peace? I'll give you a hint. Think about who's in the Board of Peace. Yes, I would love Norway to host Board of Peace and have all of the members of the Board of Peace in Norway. There's 2 members there that has an ICC arrest warrant that if they step foot on Norway, they would be arrested. 100%. Let's have the Board of Peace meeting in Norway. Netanyahu and Putin. Exactly. I so hope this is 4-dimensional chess from Norway, because I don't know Trump understands that. I hope Norway is really, really playing Trump at the moment. That Trump is like, oh, Norway's going to be nice and host the next Board of Peace, without thinking like, hey, my good friend Bibi Netanyahu would be arrested immediately. Trump loves blondies from Norway. Maybe he will be on the list by then. No way they would arrest Putin. I hope they would. No, Norway isn't a real country. Well, it surely is. No way he would understand that. No, I don't think he does. I don't think he even knows that. Actually, Trump wants to make Gaza be the next Singapore. I think they're gonna probably name Gaza Trump Strip. Have you seen the plans for Gaza? Have you seen the White House plans for Gaza? Oh, sorry. Gaza 2.0, as they called it. I can assure you, no Palestinians will be allowed to live in Gaza unless they're slave labor. Would they not receive diplomatic immunity during the event? I will fucking fly to Norway and arrest Netanyahu and Putin myself. If they go to Norway, I would fly there myself and arrest them. I don't have any authority on that. I'm not even Norwegian. Citizens arrest, 100%. Humanist arrest. Sure you would, lol. That was like, I would be shot even if I took a step towards Netanyahu or Putin. They wouldn't hesitate killing me if they were there. That's the sort of people we're talking about. Even if I don't have intentions of killing them or any, they would still not hesitate. Their bodyguards wouldn't hesitate. If they're willing to kill their own people, this is Putin. If they're willing to kill their own people, their own politicians, their own members of parliament and military, you think they care about any foreign citizens? No. And then again, you have the other one who's willing to kill women and children in the tens of thousands without batting an eye, while calling them trash, dehumanizing them. You think a person like that would bat an eye? No, they wouldn't. But they should be arrested. In Scandinavia, the best people at Mario Kart are probably some of our lads in prison. That's a wild statement. That's a wild statement. All right, I think this is a good start for the streams again. We had some good chats. I have to say that we had really good conversations today. I'm gonna keep it short, so I have some energy still to do some videos. I want to thank everyone. Like, we had people in Twitch having a go and talking a bit more. Usually they're lurking, which is also fine. But we had a lot of people in TikTok as well. So thanks for joining in. We had a lovely conversation. Hopefully you enjoyed. There was a lot of good conversation. We found common ground in chat. And that was when we were talking about corruption. And I love that. We can disagree on things. That is completely human and natural. But we can also try and find the common grounds. You know, where we can agree. And as citizens, because like as humans, as unfortunately, we are all the quote unquote lower class that are pushed down by the elites and the powerful. And we need to unite and understand that there's more similarities between us than us and the elite. So when we're talking about who do we share the most common grounds, each other. So that's why we need to fight the division. We need to fight the separation of ourselves and try to find the common grounds. Billionaires shouldn't exist. If my 9-year-old daughter asks a question, why does somebody have hundreds of billions? And when I explain to them that it's only because of greed, her follow-up was like, why do they keep them themselves? They could just give away 99% and still have millions. Which is true. Which is true. Trump is wrong. Norway is not holding this meeting. Thank you for your insight. I'm happy to found this channel. Hey, thanks, who did you? Greed and corruption. Thanks everyone in TikTok. Thanks for all the gifts that you give. I never request for any gifts or anything, but I really value each and every one of you if you give or don't give gifts. I just heard about the arrest. What happened next? They let Andrew go. Ashurabi. They let Andrew go, but that's because they abide by law to release him during the investigation. It's you again. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing just fine. I'm just about to end, but we're back tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow about the same time, around 7 o'clock Irish time. We'll be here again. So hope to see you all again tomorrow. Take care. Good night, good day, good morning, wherever you are. No, we won't. We won't? What's tomorrow? Oh, sorry. V, thanks for the follow. Why aren't we going to be here tomorrow? I won't. What am I doing? Have a gooder. Ah, shit. I'll do a live on my phone. No, I can do a live on my phone and not my laptop. So I'll come live for a brief moment tomorrow. So have peace and love to you all. Same to you guys. Take care.